Hello again, Celia here. Today we're going to talk about the Kundalini energy. And not only talk, we're actually going to do an exercise as well. If you're tired or you have too little vital energy, too little passion for your work, for your life, for your children, for your parents, too little passion for your love, then we need to awaken the Kundalini energy, awaken this life force within. But, and here comes the warning, if we push this energy too hard by doing intense exercises, it might do more damage than good. And that's because if we have very little energy, it might be because we're leaking energy. So the gentle Kundalini exercise that we will do in the end of this video is all about healing this leakage and making you tempt the energy to grow, tempt the Kundalini to grow. And the Kundalini energy is your life force. It's everything that brings you joy, basically, because it's what, if you want to paint a picture and you start painting, you start coloring, you start dancing, you know, when you're doing the stuff you like and you feel the rush of energy, that is the Kundalini rising. We have so many different forms of the energy in our bodies and in our minds and hearts, but the Kundalini is the raw form of the energy. It's like the burst, it's the first spark of all energy that we're using. The Kundalini energy is often seen as a sexual energy because it is necessary for the sexual orgasm. It is necessary for reproduction, but it's so much more than that because it is our life force energy. And very often it's represented by a coiled snake in the lower of your back or the first vertebrae of your spine. And you can also see it as a little flame. And when we breathe into that flame, it can grow and it can grow up the spine and it can sort of awaken all our energy centers so that it comes all the way up to the head and it can create a real boost, a real awakening. I once actually had a Kundalini awakening that was going on for 21 nights. Very, very intense, total bliss blasting through all the chakras, blasting through my entire energy system, and it was total bliss. But even if that's not so common to have that going on like at least for 21 nights in a row, you can still get so much benefits from starting to working with your Kundalini energy. And there's so many different ways to do that. You can find so many different breathing techniques that pushes the energy up. We'll do a very gentle and very soft and very safe one today. Let's look at the benefits of awakening this fire within. First of all, it brings more energy. So we feel more energetic, we feel more powerful, we feel more joyful. So it brings more vital energy into your organs, into your mind, into your heart. So you become more creative, you become more passionate and more joyful. And it can create a better sexual life as well. Also, it's a way to enhance or bring forth your spiritual awakening because we're bringing this flame not only into the sexual organs and the lower chakras, no, we're bringing this energy all the way up to our third eye, which is sort of the awakening, and then all the way up to the crown, all through our spine. And so it may see things differently, it can bring new perspectives. And it's like an enlightenment. We suddenly see everything in a new light and it brings us more in touch with the spirituality around us, with the oneness of all. And then it also has this amazing advantage of healing emotional wounds. Because when energy is moving, the energy within us actually knows where to go. We don't really need to tell it where to heal, and that's why it can bring so much good for traumas and negative experiences we've had when we do it in a very soft and gentle way. The Kundalini can bring such a spiritual transformation. The word transformation is very important here because it's sort of cleaning away something old, transforming it into something completely new. And that's why spiritually seen, it is like a boost for our spiritual growth and the path that we're walking. And then we have, of course, the absolutely most wonderful thing about the Kundalini awakening, and that is the feeling of union with the divine. A union with the divine can feel like transcendence. It is like everything belongs to you. You're part of everything. You're not separated from anything at all. It's all love. It's all bliss. It's all ecstasy. It's all wonderful. So that is a stage of the spiritual awakening that we all long for, I think, because it brings us a knowledge that we're connected to so much more than what we deal with in their everyday life. We're connected to the entire universe and all the universes and all the love out there. So the union with the divine is very important for me, but it's not where we start when we're doing the first attempt to awaken the Kundalini energy. A lot of Kundalini exercises use an intense form of breathing, either just alone or together with yoga movements, something that is opening, closing, so that you get a movement in your spine and back as well. Now, for instance, the breathing could be like this. So you feel it in your lower stomach, and that will give an energy boost. It will give you more oxygen in the blood, and you will feel more energized, at least for a little while. But the thing is, if you have very, very little energy on your battery, or you are already quite exhausted, you can feel more exhausted after doing this kind of Kundalini work, because we need some kind of energy to use some kind of energy. So if we have a very big leakage that we're actually losing energy in different forms, then this might make things worse. Imagine you have a flat tire on your car and there's a hole in it, it's a leakage somewhere, and you fill with air, and sure, it will last a little while, but you know that the tire will be flat again in the evening because the leakage is still there. So the more you breathe in, it's like filling this tire with air, but you're leaking, so you're losing it again. And we don't want that. We want to get more energy into this body, into this mind, into this emotions, into our lives, so that we feel more joyful, we feel more creative, we feel more passionate about our lives. So that's why we have to think of this tire again. What do we have to do before we can fill it with air? We need to repair the leakage. Okay, it's very basic, it's very obvious, but very often we forget to think about our own being like this. So we just waste energy, and we're filling up with something, maybe even sugar and not only exercises, just to keep going. So let's try something completely different. Rather than to speed things up, let's slow things down. And by the way, if you want to like my video, I'd really appreciate it. If you want to subscribe to my channel, it would be great. Now, let's start the exercise. I'll talk you through it first, and then we'll do it together in the end. First of all, what we want to do is we won't just breathe out and let go of the energy. When we breathe in, we want to keep the oxygen, the energy, the light, the divine spark. We're going to breathe it in, and then we make resistance when we breathe out. So it sounds a little bit like this. Breathe in. So it's the same voice that I use when I'm whispering. When I do that, I create a resistance in my throat, which means all the air doesn't leave me immediately. It takes its time. And that's sort of, it's going around looking for leakage. Where do I have to fill in the holes before I can release? And also it is a way of tempting the energy to grow rather than forcing it to grow. So I do this, like breathe in. Try it with me. Try to make the sound. If you can't make that sound, restricting the energy, then you can also use your lips, restricting the energy through your lips, like you don't need to do that, but just restrict the energy with your lips. I like the whispering because it's much more relaxed. And it makes me relaxed, so it's easier for me to do that. But everybody's different. Try what works for you. The point here is to restrict the energy, restrict the air, so with every single breath we take, the energy will start growing. Imagine there is this life force in the bottom of our spine, like really down in your spine. There's this golden force, life form. It's a fire, it's a flame, it's a little thing that's warm and fuzzy, and it wants to grow. So with each breath we take, we fill ourselves, but then we give it little. We hold back with energy so that we tempt the flame to grow when it's ready, and we allow the healing to happen at the same time. So we take it slow and steady, and we hold back, giving just a little bit so that the flame wants more. Instead of blowing out the flame and it's gone, we give it nutrition, we give it love, we give it care, and this warm, fuzzy divine energy will grow. So let's do this Kundalini exercise together. Breathe in deeply first. Fill your lungs, fill your belly, and then breathe out and restrict the energy. In your own pace, as long as you want. Just breathe in again when it's comfortable for you, and out again. And now you visualize, while you're breathing, you visualize that down in your spine, the lowest part of your spine, there is this golden warm energy. It's a little tiny flame that gives warmth and light and a lovely feeling. And as you breathe, you give it just little bit what it needs. Not a lot. Just give it a little at a time, and the flame will start growing all by itself. So it will grow in your spine. You feel totally comfortable, totally relaxed, and keep breathing. Allow the flame to really take its time and grow as fast and as far as it's comfortable for you. Keep following the flame up your spine. Maybe you feel something in your other chakras. Maybe you feel something in your solar plexus, in your heart, in your throat, in your head. Maybe you feel dizzy. If you feel dizzy, or you feel it's enough, you feel that it's good for now, then you just simply stop right now. If you want to continue, you're welcome to do that. Best thing is to not overdo it, not do many breaths at a time, but do a few, like maybe 5-6 breaths, maybe up to 10 or even 12, but then stop. And then you can do it various times a day. If you really feel the need of repairing your leakage and encouraging your spinal fire to start growing and giving you more passion into your life, bringing you more colors into your life, bringing more life into your life, then do it often. Do it every day. Do it 3 times a day. It doesn't have to be many minutes, but just do it so you remind yourself that you're actually welcoming the Kundalini energy to come in its own pace, to arise in its own pace, to awaken as it's good for you. Follow your own energy. Feel when it's enough. Start with little, then introduce more and more as you feel comfortable with it. This was law number 1, the law of energy in the Psyche system. Follow us for more. Let's share some love.